very excited to announce the signing of PJ Tucker. Just what this team needs. I was telling him how Chris Paul, one of the reasons we were so excited to get Chris Paul done before free agency is we were able to talk with him and James and Coach D'Antoni and say, what do we really need for this team? And the unanimous was we need toughness, we need defense, and PJ brings that in spades. His ability to guard the wing and the interior. He's an improving shooter. Coach D'Antoni thinks he'll fit great in everything we're doing here. We're trying to get our defense into the top 10. Obviously, our offense was historic, and getting Nene back, getting PJ are two huge steps in that direction. And can't tell you how I'm excited to bring him. Another guy who had to play in the Ukraine at one point. He's fought for everything in this league, and guys like that really are great for your locker room and your culture. Want to say something, PJ?
Happy to be back in Texas.
Open for questions.
PJ, how did you end up with Houston being your choice? What was it, the lure of Houston?
Honestly, right after we lost in the playoffs, I was in Atlanta and I ran into James. I told him the story, and James goes, "You're coming to Houston." I was like, "Man, get out of here." He's like, "No, I'm serious." He's like, "I'm trying to get you." I was like, "Okay." So when the day came, and we actually got on the phone, and I was telling the story, it's like, "Oh, really?" And then Chris had called the day before, and kind of just grew together. And then when they actually been able to open up, because so many things going on. They had things going on, I had things going on, and when they actually came together, it just made sense for me.
PJ, how special was it, how special was it for you when you officially signed your contract?
It was really special. It was really special to be able to come in free agency. A lot of times, a lot of people chance to chase money, chase situations, or you can get both in a great situation to be able to feel like you can really compete for a championship. That's everything. So for me, this stage of my career, I want to win. I want to go to a team where I know people are going to go try to win every single game and try to reach the pinnacle and be able to fight for a championship.
PJ, you and Harden have had some good battles on the defensive side going against him. What's it feel like knowing you guys are now teammates?
Yeah, it's crazy. He's we definitely had some great battles and great games. So to be on the side now, total different mindset, switch. But I think now, like you said, be able to help his team on defense. I think, especially with Trevor being out there, to switch so many situations, being able to just, alleviate so many situations, 1-on-1, 2-on-2, not having to use the whole defense would make a big difference. And I'm excited to see all the things that can happen.
PJ, I think James just wanted him so that he didn't have to go against him anymore. So.
Can you talk about your game in particular, how it fits in with this team, how you see it, being such a fit?
You got Chris Paul and James Harden. I'm a spot-up corner three-point shooter, so for me it's just, if they help you, just get wide open shots. And then being able to play defense, like I said, with this team, bring Nene back, me and Trevor and Chris out there, it can be some really good defensive lineups out there. So it's exciting for me.
PJ, you UT fans are familiar with you. Daryl mentioned playing in Europe. You mentioned Ukraine. I mean, you were in different clubs. Can you give us an idea of just how that formed the basketball player that you are?
I think it prepares you in this league to play a role. I think NBA is a league of roles. I think guys, you get 12 or 16 guys that are the stars, and then everybody else, you got to fill a position, you got to fill a need and a role on the team. And I think my road to get back to the NBA was preparing me for just that. Being able to pick up my defense, being able to be a better shooter, being able to be a good locker room guy, be able to motivate my teammates to go out and play every night, and all that stuff goes into helping teams win.
Coming to Houston, how much of a factor was Chris Paul, was James Harden, or just the overall fit that you saw yourself in Houston?
It was the fit. I mean, we had talked for a long time about me coming to Houston, just in on our board and being a free agent before, and wanting to be here. So I think now once Chris came, it was easy. Me and Chris grew up together. We known each other since we were 9 years old. So for us, the chance to play together was huge.
PJ, when you're a free agent, Toronto wanted to go to teams
it's kind of special, and you get the opportunity. I think it meant the world to me to be able to have the opportunity, as I said before, to be able to fight for a championship. I mean, everybody every year will say, we're fighting for a championship, be able to be in the championship. But with those two at the head of our team, we really got a shot. So it's everything for me to be able to be in that position.
Daryl, could you address what's basically left for you right now? You probably say you're never really done, but what's ahead of you as far as fine-tuning your roster?
Yeah, I mean, we're obviously opportunistic. We really like our 8 that we have right now, and coach doesn't play much more than that anyway usually. So I would say we like our young players as well. If there are opportunities, we'll pursue them, but we really feel like we have a group we can go to war with right now. And if something comes along, my job is I have to look at it. But our rotation, obviously with Chris and James, Trevor, Ryan, Clint, and Nene, PJ, and Eric off the bench. I mean, I put that group up against anyone in the league.
Daryl, people have been saying that obviously Golden State's a standard, and that's the team you're trying to, get good enough to compete and beat. You feel like you kind of close that gap a lot?
Yeah, I mean, they're one of the best teams ever. So, we obviously felt like we needed to close that gap. We feel like we have closed the gap. Obviously, they're the ones with 2 rings in the last 3 years, so you got to give them respect and say, hey, they're going to be the favorites going in. But we really feel like this is a group that can compete with them.
PJ, what are your thoughts on that same line of thinking? Can you catch them? I know they're the gold standard right now.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, everybody, you gotta show them respect. Two championships in 3 years. I mean, it's huge, and the things they've done. 1 loss throughout the entire playoffs is amazing. So they're definitely one of the better teams of all time. But I think, like you said, when you look at our 8, we got a pretty strong 8, and I'm not the type to sit here and say we're gonna lose to anybody. I think we can go out there and fight with the top of the league.
Like PJ said, I mean, one thing that's really great about his abilities is his ability to, guard multiple positions. Probably one of the very few ways to guard Golden State is to have guys who can switch onto different guys, and PJ's ability to do that was a huge priority for us, and a big reason I wanted him, Coach wanted him, James and CP3 wanted him.
On that same token, then, do you view him as getting the bulk of his minutes as a 4, or at least defending 4s, so that you can have Trevor with the 3 guards on the floor at once?
Yeah, I think that's a better question for Coach, but I think his, one nice thing is his versatility will allow, Coach to, either have him, play behind Ryan at the 4, or when Trevor's out, guard the wing. So the one thing about Coach is very innovative, forward thinking. A guy like PJ allows him to go into a game with different game plans. So.
Because of how offenses have evolved, and everybody talks about that around here because of Coach D'Antoni and so on. Have defenses now also started to evolve to do that sort of thing?
Yeah, I think defenses are a little bit catching up to a lot of the offensive revolutions over the last few years, or 25 years, but has really accelerated in the last 3 or 4 years. So, I think players like PJ are a lot more, in their ability to guard, certain teams that have threats all over the floor, multiple ball handlers, multiple guards and wings. Someone with his skill set is almost required.
Could you say what that skill set?
Just his ability to guard 3s, 4s, rebound multiple spots. He can both. I'll let him talk. He knows what he can do better than me. I mean, he can guard out in space and guard on the interior. I mean, that skill set is not easy to find. And at the same time, while offense might not be where he hangs his hat, he was a 40% shooter last year from 3. So it's overall it's just a great fit for us.
How important was it to keep Nene here?
I mean, that was huge. You saw him in the Oklahoma City series. I think almost at the NBA record, going 12 for 12 or something like that. So, and then all year, he's the anchor, and then he can guard different bigs than Clint. So, having someone with his strength and versatility, and then again, Nene is another one just like Clint who can also guard in space, so you could switch the 5, the 1-5 pick and roll or any pick and roll involving the 5, which is also extremely important.
Any other questions?
PJ, this is a little bit obvious rhetorical, but do you come here if this team doesn't have Chris Paul and James Harden? Was that a major factor to swing you to choose this team?
Yes, that's kind of weird. I don't know. I think it helps.
So it's obvious, but I mean, if you're choosing, it's.
When you're a defender, it helps to have those guys. You're a 3D guy, it helps to have those guys on your team for sure.
I think it's important to talk about. I mean, and PJ, he did pick here. He had more money opportunities. Obviously he knows like all that went into his choice, but I do know, because we do our homework, that he was turning down more money from other teams. So.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.